Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Grow Wealthy Grooming. I am your host, River Lee, and I am the founder of the Savvy Groomer. So, I'm sorry I'm a little late today. You'll forgive me. I won't lie. I picked up a matcha frappuccino, and I got two because they messed up. I wanted it made with coconut milk, and they made it with regular milk. And so they made me two. And I won't lie, when they were like, oh no, we made it with regular milk. Do you want to keep this one and we'll make you another with coconut milk? I'm like, I'm going to be late for my show, but I'm going to get a free second frappuccino. So, yeah, sorry I'm late, but I'm not that upset about it. So, y'all mean very much to me, but come on, matcha frappuccino. It's like one of the few things that like I pretend to be like, I should get another cup of coffee, or I should have a, I wanted to get a refresher, but they actually ran out of all the refreshers except for the dragon fruit one. I was like, this is nonsense. Where are all these delicious things? And I also could have gotten regular coffee. But it's really hot out where I am right now. So right now I'm pulling up as we speak our YouTube so I can check my comments because it's not showing me any comments, and I want to make sure that I'm live at the moment. Sometimes I feel like the computer is just making fun of me. It's like, you think I will work for you, human? No. You know, some days I know, you're like, River, you're so weird. Why are you so weird? I'm like, I don't know. I just can't help it. And what's funny is like my son's really weird as well, by the way. Like he got in trouble, not recently, a few years ago. And just so you guys know, he's 10. And he got in trouble for like pretending to drink out of the toilet. And I was like, why would you do that? And he just thought it was really funny. And I'm like, God, I feel like that's definitely something I would have done. Now, mind you, I got in trouble when I was in kindergarten because this is like an embarrassing story, so hopefully we'll ignore this, but funny story. So I started kindergarten when I was 4. So I think it was like the end of kindergarten, so I was 5. So I was like playing dog, where I would like pretend to be a dog all around there, and then like the teacher said, you have to sit down, and I growled at her, and I went underneath her desk, and she grabbed me, and I like was like and like I snapped at her. I didn't bite her, but I went to go bite her, and then there's a child psychologist, and everyone's like, your kid's crazy, and they're like, we already know that. So I did luck out because I was a crazy kid, but in a different way. When I was younger than Ronan, I wanted to grow up to be the black stallion. Why? Because who doesn't want to grow up to be a big, beautiful horse? At some point you grow up and you're like, oh man, like I was such a weird kid, right? But anyway, hey Peter, great to see you. So anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about today's topic, which is all about burnout and takeout and the financial side of it. Now, often you guys forget that Savvy Groomer's main focus is actually about finances. We are really passionate about personal finances and helping you guys make money and keep more of the money you make. So, one thing that was interesting, it was a great conversation piece, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up it in my group. I minimized my Facebook just in time to read off this question. I know. Frappuccino did me in. It's really weird. I don't know if you guys do this when you go on Facebook and stuff. Like, it's so weird to look at yourself. I could probably pull it up faster on my phone. I am getting a new computer, so everyone knows. That is on my to-do list. Boo, 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 boo. And it was by Pamela. It was a great, great question. I'm going to pull it up. Forget it. I'm doing it on my phone because it's going to be faster. Boop. Isn't that sad when your phone is faster than the big expensive computer? So here was the question. How do you stop ordering takeout every night? I'm a single mom, and by the time I get home, I don't feel like cooking, so I end up ordering, and I'm spending a lot of money. I've tried meal prep, but end up wasting food I cooked because I still order. So there's a couple of things, and I love that in Personal Finance and Unleashed, there's these amazing people coming together who were also like, hey, there's lots of options for you to do this. So first things first, one thing is make sure you actually can get off of the takeout bandwagon. When we talk about burnout, we talk about being physically exhausted, mentally exhausting, and emotionally exhausted. So a lot of times what we end up doing is we're exhausted from working all day, especially if we have young kids. I have a 10-year-old, I get it. And we end up going and buying food, and we're not paying attention to how much we're spending. So I found out when I first did this that I was spending an average of $1,200 a month. Ouch. So from there, it's like, okay, what can I do? Well, first things first, I want you to consider, are you, first of all, for your own health, are you eating healthier options when you go out to eat? I don't think inherently eating takeout or even fast food is a bad idea as long as you make healthier choices. We do a lot of Chick-fil-A for reasons I'll tell you in a little later, but I like their grilled chicken nuggets. I have to eat them with a fork, so they're not perfect. But if I want like just something quick, it's grilled chicken. It's definitely injected with all kinds of sodium and this and that. So it's not perfect, but it's better than eating fried chicken nuggets. I'll generally get like a kale crunch, which is kale. And again, it's got cranberries and dressing. So it's not great for me, but it's better than getting waffle fries. You know, instead of getting a soda, I'll get an unsweetened tea with lemonade. Is that perfect? No, but it's a little bit better health-wise. So you can do little things for your health, and you don't need to be perfect. You know, they have fruit options. But there's definitely times I get like the large waffle fry, and I literally get the 8-ounce thing of the sauce, and I literally just sit there and I just pour the sauce directly onto the French fry and stuff my face. And my go-to sandwich is a spicy deluxe with American cheese. So there's definitely days I don't eat healthy. But you can, if you're eating a lot of takeout, make mildly healthier options. And the reason I say that is because as somebody who really struggles with eating healthy, I know how hard it is. It's not easy. But, you know, even small steps are better than nothing. I tend to be, and the reason I mention this, I'm an all or nothing kind of person. I'm very black or white. So giving myself permission to be in the middle is really important for me personally. So moving on to other ways you can cut back on takeout, or maybe not, right, is choosing options that give you points. So one way of earning money back, essentially, by eating takeout can be going to places that have point systems and getting loyal to them. In my area, we have a small family-run, like a casual, like a cello. It's called Cellos, but it's kind of like an Applebee's or a Chili's or like a, what is it, 99? It's that kind of fast casual. But it is, you sit down. Most of the food is pretty homemade. It's not perfect. It's definitely more comfort food versus like super healthy stuff. But they have, you get points for every time you eat there. I can never remember the conversion, but I'm pretty sure it's right around between $300 and $500 that you spend. You get 10 or 20 bucks a pop. Is that great money back? No, it's not. But it's something is better than nothing. The other thing I really enjoy is things like Chick-fil-A. I have so many points because if I need a fast, quick meal, especially when I was mobile, I would get the kale crunch, some fruit, and the grilled nuggets. Then when I was feeling gross, I would get like the giant, large waffle fry and then the sandwich. But either way, I got points towards it. And so I could take those points and, you know, use that on days when I have less money or to help subsidize some of that bad habit, right? And a lot of times being mobile and having a young son, it really wasn't possible to go home and cook dinner. And even today, I went grocery shopping and it was a pain in the butt. It took me an hour and a half in the grocery store because it was so busy. Normally I try to go midday, but I went at 4 o'clock. It took an hour and a half to get my food, get through the line, and then I had to drive home. So the whole thing took probably 2.5 hours. That's a lot of time just to get the food and then bring it home, and then to cook food will take another hour or two. So I totally get, like, there's going to be days when you can't do that. So potentially just having those other options that gain you points and trying to stick to those places will help a little bit. You know, maybe they have mobile points, like Starbucks has mobile points. When I mobile order, I get 2 points for every coffee. Is it ideal? Absolutely not. But if I am going to use that anyway, I'm going to get things back for it. You know, and that helps you save a little bit of money. Another trick that I do that I don't see a lot of people talking about is during holidays, like generally Father's Day, graduation, Black Friday, and New Year's, a lot of these companies, especially your bigger companies, will have, if you buy somebody gift cards, they're going to give you more money back. So one place in particular was if you spend $500, they give you $100. I've also seen if you buy $100 worth of gift cards, they'll give you $25. Those are awesome. If you can find those, you could easily buy 6 months to a year's worth of gift cards and get a few months free. So, or at least nearby, right? Because if I'm eating out, let's say you're not as crazy, maybe $1,200. Let's say you spend about $500 a month eating out. And that's not uncommon for a family of 4. It's really not. It's really small, in fact. So if I said, okay, I'm going to buy 3 months worth of my gift cards at, so that's $500 each month. Let's say we're all going to do Texas Roadhouse, and even better if it's a place that gives you a discount for buying the gift cards and gives you points. That's a double whammy right there. If I bought $500 and that gives me $25 for every 100, that'd be $125 off. So that $125 for 3 months is almost the next month's worth completely free. Now you might be like, how the hell am I going to get $1,500 to buy $1,500 worth of gift cards? Well, in theory, you would start having a sinking fund for those and saving money aside. It is not easy. But generally speaking, what I found too for me emotionally is if I took $50 and I said to myself, here is $50. How would you like to spend this? Do we want to buy dinner? Are we tired enough we want to buy dinner with it? You could do this with $100 too. Am I tired enough holding this $100 bill, holding this $50 bill in my hand? Do I want to spend this eating out? Or if I give this to myself to spend it on something I want to do, will I find the energy to cook? And sometimes I'd honestly find the energy to cook. And other nights I'd be like, hell no, I don't care how much this costs. I need this gone. I need food. The kid's hungry. He's cranky, etc. So consider that and think about where you could start saving money doing that. Can you buy those gift cards? Can you buy, I don't want to say buy, but can you get coupons? Some places when you buy certain things, they'll give you free coupons in the future. Sometimes it'll be an appetizer, but a lot of places, if you ask, say, hey, when you get the coupon, instead of having like fried pickles, could we use this on a salad, a side salad? Some places will actually let you do that. Now, in the takeout has changed significantly since COVID. I recently started using this place called Not Your Average Joe's, and everyone has their own places in the area. And what they do is they make family portions, and their family portions are actually they're meant for 4 to 5 people, but they're actually not significantly more expensive. So if you can get everybody on the same train for food, which is not easy, by the way. I'm very lucky I have one kid. If you have 2 kids and they have totally different choices in food, that would be very difficult. So I understand. So I really like their Waldorf salad. This is my thing. So I'll buy, if I just bought a side Waldorf salad, it's $13. If I buy a single adult salad, the stupid thing is $25. That's nuts for one dinner salad. It is what it is. But what's weird is if you want to get 4 to 5 portions, I would probably say 3 to 4 portions of that same salad, it's $40. So for only double, I get 3 to 4 the amount of portions. So for my meal prep, a lot of times, not a lot of times, but I would say at least 1 week of the month, I will get that Waldorf salad. I have little glass containers and I'll portion it out. Now, one adult salad for me is two containers worth of salad. So that other one I get is easily 6 to 8 portions of that salad. So I'm able to have, at least 3 or 4 days worth of lunches or other, or like mid-afternoon snack of that salad. That's really quick and not bad for me, and do that. Now it also comes with grilled chicken. So instead of putting the grilled chicken on the salad, I leave that aside. And what I can do with that is create other food. Whether that is, I'm not a taco person, but people like tacos. They'll like, I'm such a boring eater. With the grilled chicken, I actually generally just put it and I heat it up and I'll eat like 3 ounces of chicken when I get hungry. So I'm not a good example of that. A better example would be that my son and I will, in the wintertime, because I like chili, not like a lot of chili. I really like tomato and hamburger. So for those of you guys that like spicy food, my chili is not really much more than tomato sauce, seasoning, and beef. And then I will cook in beans, but I'll cook it in a separate container. And then I will mix in the chili with the beans to make chili beans if I want to have chili beans. If not, I can take that same hamburger and turn that into sloppy joes for my son, because that's what he likes. I don't really love that, but he loves that. Now, if we want to have it with a pasta dish, I can take that same hamburger that I've cooked up and get creative and go, okay, then it's going to be, I'm going to add some mushrooms, some other things, and either make a bolognese sauce, or I can turn that into, we call it American chop suey, but I've heard it called goulash as well. And I'll generally use something like a chickpea pasta. So you can take food and just reinvent it different ways. Like when I go to Texas Roadhouse, they give me a 16-ounce steak. There's no hope of me eating an entire 16-ounce steak. So I cut it in half. And so generally when I go to Texas Roadhouse, which is one of my son's favorite places, he just loves that they dance. That's cool. I agree with him. It's fun. So what we'll do is I'll order a 16-ounce ribeye. Then I'm going to get mashed potatoes and I'm going to get a Caesar salad. So I'll eat half my steak and my Caesar salad. I'll take my mashed potatoes and the other half of the steak, and I can use that either for the following day as a secondary meal, or I can do it mixed up with other things. That can become steak and eggs. I can take the potato and turn it into not true lackeys, but at least, like, my son's part Jewish, so we make potato pancakes. That's what he likes. So there's lots of ways to recreate food. Now, in the group, I was so happy because people came up with other great ideas, because not everyone is able to do food prep. And I totally get that. I'm one of those people, like, I don't love leftovers. It's not that I don't like leftovers. I grew up in the family that did not believe that food went bad. So I have like a very high, not sure I like I get very nervous with food. A perfect example I have is that when I moved out, let's call it like 2010 or so, I had a can of Dinty Moore, which is beef stew in a can. It's not super delicious. It's just, it works. So it's good. It's good that it tastes good, but it is definitely, it's a little white trash. It is what it is. And don't get me wrong. Like, it's one of those things like Kraft mac and cheese to me is a little white trash, but it's so good. I don't care. Sometimes I just want to eat it. But anyway, so I poured it out and it was like a gelatinous mess, like more than normal. And then I went to go feed it to the dog, and the dog wouldn't eat it. That's when I knew there was a problem. So I looked at the can, and the can had been, it said it expired in 92. So I called my mom and said, hey, This expired in 92. You know, he gave it to me. She goes, oh no, don't worry about it. Canned food never goes bad. So that's kind of, you know, what happened there. But here are some other great options for how to start working on takeout and how to do less of it or do it, you know, do it well. I don't want to say that. That's not really fair. But do it in a way that is not so financially impactful. You know, one person said, take healthy, quick snacks, like yogurt or paleo bars to work. You know, only a dash once a week for lunch. That's a great idea. If you have, you know, for some of you guys that I can't eat any of those power bars or anything. I'm allergic to soy and allergic to nuts. Those are not really options for me. But I will say one quick snack. Again, this is not great when you're grooming. Well, it's good and it's bad. It's great because all the dogs will love you, but it's not great because you have to make sure your hands are clean. So when I was eating more paleo, what I would do is I would do roast beef wraps. So I'd do roast beef. I did prosciutto, mostly because I was having trouble getting enough salt at that point. The healthier you eat, the more you realize there's no sugar or salt in anything. It was crazy. And then I would take spinach, and I would take the spinach in the prosciutto, and I would roll it up. Now, what I liked about those was I got that quick piece of protein. The spinach made me feel full, and the salt helped me because I was really bad, I won't lie, at drinking water. So between needing the salt in general in my diet and then needing to drink more water, it encouraged me to do so. Those were really awesome. The only bad thing is you do need to eat with your fingers, and if you're grooming all day, you want to make sure you wash your hands, because I won't pretend that I have should not probably admit this on live, but hashtag groomer life. I have definitely washed a dog and then like immediately taken a bite of a sandwich and not washed my hands. Like, in theory, the soap makes us clean, but you know, when you're doing anal glands, you're brushing teeth, you really, really need to make sure that you're washing your hands before you put something in your mouth. So that's a great thing. Try and get snacks, because that'll help you wait to go home and be hungry. But I totally get that. I'm feeling so bad. Everyone's like, I know, I order so much to do. So here's another one. Keep it simple. Air fryer, Instant Pot is your friend. I have an air fryer. I don't use it because I find cleaning it very exhausting. But an air fryer is a great option because you can really easily put it in there and let it go. Instapot or Crock Pot if you like those foods. I don't personally eat a lot of like saucy kinds of food. I really don't. And if I do, they're generally only in the winter. But those are not bad ideas either. You know, doing things like, we used to always do soup in crock pots, but I know there's many more recipes. I know I eat so plainly. Like when I go out to eat, I let them cook for me. But when I'm home, I do very, very simple foods. Like tonight, I'm going to be doing strawberry, mozzarella, and basil salad. If I feel up to it, then I will do a little bit of steak. I have a little bit of steak I can reheat. I still have a little bit of grilled chicken. I eat really plainly, so I feel like I'm a bad person. Because I'm like, man, like you don't want to ask me for food advice, because after I ate a lot of takeout, and then I kind of went back and I was like, okay, like I'm going to simplify my diet. After I simplified my diet, the only time I eat rich, crazy food is when I go out to eat, because if I'm not going to cook it. That's the truth. And so it's the same thing with takeout. So I totally get it. I think that's where if you can use an Instant Pot and all that, and the Crock Pot, if you like the recipes, generally speaking, the only thing we really cook in the Crock Pot is chili. And then my family, we do this, we call it Venus de Milo soup. I don't actually know what it's called, but it's hamburger and then a bunch of weird frozen veggies. And it's basically whatever pack of vegetable medley we find. And then I don't know what kind of, it's like beef broth. And it's just perfect for what we want. There's like tomatoes in it. And it's really yummy and it's really filling and it freezes really well because we don't add pasta to it or anything, which is really good for me because I have to stay away from carbs. Carbs make me really sick. I don't do well with them. And so if I'm going to waste carbs, I'm going to waste them on real pasta, homemade pasta, or I'm going to waste them on, I'm literally drooling on like good fresh Italian bread, like right from the oven. Oh my God, so good. Really great one was, they had mentioned a meal delivery service. So not meal prep, but like the Red Apron. And she was using another one called Cook Unity. And I think that's awesome. You know, I think that's a great one. And she said we get 6 dinners a week each and are on a week-to-week order basis. And that's amazing. There are definitely a lot of way more meal prep options than we even know. If you Google them, I hate to say it this way in the most cheap, awful way, you could honestly probably go on all these. I'm gonna sound like a terrible person for a second. Sorry, guys. You could probably get these trials for like every single one at every different month and to be able to go start all over again. A lot of these companies offer really, really, really amazing deals for the first time. I know a friend in the building, I think it was Blue Apron or HelloFresh, and they gave her like 2 weeks of meals for free if she bought a month. So she paid for 2 weeks and she got 4 weeks. So that was an amazing deal. And those are definitely an option. I personally cannot order from them because I have so many food allergies that it makes it really difficult for me. But I know a lot of people love them. And I know a lot of people have a lot of great fun with them. You know, and I think that is also a great option if you feel up to cooking. Because you're not going to have to do the grocery shopping. All you're going to have to do is follow the instructions and do all of that. You know, I will say if Pamela is like where I was so burnt out, I was exhausted, I was working 60, 80 hours a week. That would not have worked for me. But now I could definitely see where that would work really well for me. Because I would have way more time to do that. And what's really nice is that if your kids are old enough, like my son's 10, you know, he can help. You know, he can start things up, heat up the oven, help me read the instructions. Like that could be a really fun bonding opportunity. You know, I will say that there are so many different options with those meal kits. Another option would be actual meal delivery, not takeout. I've used one called Metabolic Meals. And again, I have a lot of food allergies, so this worked really well for me because I could actually cut out everything I'm allergic to. And there's certain, like I have sensitivities, like I don't do well with dairy, so I'm going to waste my dairy on my mozzarella salad. But I have to be so careful if I eat cheese. At the end of the day, I can't eat dairy the rest of the day. Although, darn it, maybe I'm probably gonna have to skip. I got coconut milk, so I can eat my mozzarella tonight. So I'm actually gonna have to not do my mozzarella tonight because I had this Frappuccino. Damn it. I knew there was a reason I did coconut milk. Darn it. But yeah, if you're like me and you have a lot of food issues, both from growing up in a household where, you know, I got food poisoning in excess of 10 times. In my family, we used to play this game called, is it chicken, beef, or pork? And my brother or sister and I would guess, because my mother's idea of cooking was putting meat that she pulled out of the freezer with no label on it. So no date and no what it was. It was just meat. Thawed, and then put it in the oven, slathered in Kraft barbecue sauce to the point where it was just brown. And you couldn't tell if it had been steak or some sort of like sirloin, like, you know, Salisbury steak, if it was chicken or pork. And because it was like so overcooked, it all had the same texture and it was just tasted like Kraft barbecue sauce. For the longest time growing up, I thought I hated steak because I was like, oh, steak is so gross. Because if we cooked it on the grill, it was like a hockey puck. Because that's the way my dad liked it. I used to say my dad liked his charred. And then if it was in the oven, like I didn't realize there were temperatures. Like my mom would literally put like steak that had been in the freezer for like probably a decade, slather with Kraft barbecue sauce, and then just cook it to shoe leather. So, you know, and not in a, like I have an issue with food in like a weight way. I have an issues with food where I don't trust food not to make me sick. And because I have a lot of food allergies, I get very nervous when I go to places that I can't trust for food. Like, I generally don't eat at Asian restaurants, not because Asian people are bad or anything, but just because the food tends to have a lot of nuts or soy, which I'm allergic to both. And I find that when I go to an Asian restaurant, a lot of things are pre-mixed or prepared, and I'll be like, no. I remember one time I said, I can't have nuts or soy, and they said that's fine. And then when I got the food, I said, what is in that sauce? And they're like, what do you mean? Like, isn't that like a cashew sauce? Because I remember, I think it was an Indian restaurant, or it could have been Thai. I'm so terrible, I don't remember. But I remember it was a type of sauce where it would have traditionally nuts. And they went back and they said, oh no, we're so sorry, we didn't even think about the sauce. And I've had the same thing happen to me multiple times with soy, where they'll bring like edamame as like a nice thank you, here's a free thing to eat. And I'm like, I can't eat this. And they said, why not? I'm like, it's soy. They're like, no, it's edamame. I'm like, right, which is soybean. And it's not their fault. It's just my allergies are no one else's problem. I just need to know what's in my food so I don't get sick. And that makes me a little weird about it. So, I'm trying to be helpful. And the only reason I bring up these things are if you have stuff like me, where you had a parent who unintentionally poisoned you with food, and everyone else was fine. Their stomachs were fine. I just have a really delicate stomach. That's not a problem. So for me, that's where takeout was so important when I was being burnt out. And learning to do that well made sense. I personally can't eat something in the fridge if it's been in there, like a pre-cooked food. Like if I cook something and it's been in the fridge more than 3 or 4 days, I can't eat it. My body just makes me nauseous. It's like, no. It's just like, listen, we've been down this road before. We can't trust this. So I actually go grocery shopping twice a week because for my mental health, if it's not frozen, and I have dates on everything, even stuff I buy, I literally write the date on when I buy it because I'm weird. And that's what I do. But you can also do things that are quick meals. Like we do bubble burgers a lot. We do, not a lot, but my son, hamburgers are a safe bet, kid friendly, good protein. And so we'll do those. Or we'll do the Bertolli quick meals. Are they good for you? Definitely not. But they can be done. At our local super Walmart, there are a lot of skillet meals that are really cheap. Probably too cheap, like suspiciously cheap. I got a whole bag. It was like a 5-pound bag of skirt steak. And it had onions and peppers and like all kinds of stuff. Now, I don't like tacos. I know. Who doesn't like tacos? I don't like tacos. But my son does. And so what I did is I took that skirt steak skillet meal and I made it bigger. So what I did is I took, for me personally, I like avocados. So we had avocados, which I know is hipstery crap. I put that in a bowl with some avocado. Alternatively, you can just buy guacamole as well. And that's what I ate it with. And then I know it sounds so boring, right? But that's what I ate it. It was like that. And then I added, I don't think I had spinach. I definitely added something. Oh, I did, lettuce wraps. So I took lettuce and I put that in there, but he wanted tortillas. So my son got tortillas. And I was with a good friend of mine and she ended up doing, beans and rice and created like this bowl. So we took the same foundation and we just upgraded it into what we wanted for our personalization. So there were definitely options like that. But by having a budget and how much you spend on takeout, sometimes you're just in a season that you're going to overspend on takeout. Sometimes it's like, you know what, with everything going on, I'm going to spend $1,000 a month on takeout and it is what it is. And I'm going to put things in place that in the future we're not going to do that. And that's really personal. And I want to just say that too. Sometimes personal finances or finances in general is not all about cutting things out. Sometimes it's like, I'm going to make more money on takeout than I would grooming. Sometimes it's true, but make sure it actually is. It may be I'm going to do takeout till I raise my prices and so I can work less and then I can come home and cook. But you may never want to cook. You may be like, you know what? I hate cooking. And the last thing I want to do after a long day of grooming pets is make a meal. I do enjoy going to the grocery store. But here's the thing too. If I wanted to cut money on my groceries, I would go to Aldi's. But I hate Aldi's. It literally stresses me out. And there's lots of people who love it. And so if you said to me, okay, I'll give you $1,000 to go to Aldi's twice a week, and then cook a 2-hour meal 5 days a week, I would not take that deal. And I know that sounds crazy, but I would not take that deal. I'd be like, I'd rather pay the $1,000. And to some people that might be mental, but it's all about knowing you. It's kind of like the same thing. If I said to you for $600, make a coffee every day at your house. And I wouldn't take that deal because you know what? This stupid thing makes me so happy. I do have to give it my mozzarella salad tonight. But it's so yummy. And I'm really happy. And it's going to make me a better groomer. It's going to make me a better employee. It's going to make me a better business owner. Whatever that is to you, right? So sometimes it's not as simple as just cut things out. Sometimes it's reevaluate what you want. And I don't think we say that enough. I say that a lot. But I think as an industry, we don't say that. And it's really important for you to get out of burnout, which I know isn't easy. And this month in our business membership, we're actually talking about burnout and the different ways you can be burnt out and then how to rectify them. So those are always options. If you guys want to sign up for the business membership, you can go ahead. It's savvygroomer.com/GWG. And you can go ahead and sign up for $35 a month. You get a whole library of information. But I just want to be very honest. Like, there's lots of ways to cut money out of takeout, change your mind, get creative. But it might just be a season where you need to just suck it up and pay that because you need it off your plate. And it might make more sense to say, okay, I'm going to increase my prices, decrease my work, and then do that. Or say, you know what? I've got, for me, I've got one young kid, but maybe you have 2 young kids. And it's just going to be easier for me to pick up takeout. But do a little smarter. Do it in a place that's going to give you things. Or you have coupons. Maybe they got points. Whatever it is. Try that. It doesn't have to be as black and white and shameful as you must eat nothing but rice and beans. I personally don't love that. We work too hard to not have our choices. There's no perfect solution. There's no perfect answer. You've got to make these choices. And don't be afraid to take the tips you have at the end of the day and use that as your takeout budget. Most of us, if you're grooming 5 to 8 dogs a day, even at $5 per dog, that's $25 for 5 dogs, and $40, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40. Then that's a lot of money, And I'm not a fan of saying do more dogs. I'm more like, okay, maybe we need to reevaluate if we need to increase our prices. Maybe we need to look at how many large dogs we're doing. Maybe you're doing crazy clients and you need to fire a bunch of them. Maybe you need to get everyone a 4-week schedule. Whatever it is, I would highly suggest looking at that because that might be where you're in a season right now of a lot of takeout. But is that a forever goal? And for some of us, it might be like, you know what? I just want to have takeout 3 nights a week. That's fine. If you can afford that and that's where your money value system is, that makes sense. But don't order the takeout when you're already hungry. Make a plan earlier in the day. Have your kids give you their menu choices. right? And say, okay, what would you that you want? And and there could be all those different options. I know, kind of different than you guys thought it would be, right? But here's my take on burnout and takeout and how it affects your finances. Sorry, whoop, there I am. I thought you couldn't see me. So, I just want to let you guys know, if you do want to talk more, you guys can always come and network in our free Facebook group, which is Savvy Pet Professionals. We talk about personal finance, business, and lifestyle. I really have a lot of fun in there. We talk, we hang out. It's all good. And right now, we are not open for basically anything. We have our business membership, which is open if you want to work with us. We do have some one-on-one coaching client spots, but our group mentoring is not open again till July, end of June, early July. And our price increase class is not going on sale for at least another week. So that's it, guys. It was great talking with you. Please give a thumbs up or a like if you can. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. Once we get to 1,000 people, we are going to do 2 lives a week, and I cannot wait to do that, guys. All right, so it's great talking with you, and I will see you here next week. As always, guys, happy grooming.